edge of the box volley off the post and in, and then Pulisic on the stroke of half-time, through on goal, lifted it to the top right-hand corner, 2-2 at the break. Well, we'll leave that there as the second half is almost underway. It's a warm welcome along to this unofficial off-tube studio commentary of Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. It's myself, Matt Guy, and Paul Szczerbakowicz alongside me. This game has been at 1 million miles an hour. It's been full of mistakes, full of brilliance as well, with the likes of Salah and Kovacic's goals, and you cannot predict which way it's going to go.
No, you can't, because I don't think we would have predicted at the start of the first half we were going to see 4 goals. We wouldn't have predicted that Liverpool would take a 2-goal lead with Chelsea having all the possession. And then just as Liverpool started to look as though they were controlling the game towards the end of the first half, Chelsea scored twice, including an absolute worldie from Mateo Kovacic. And now it's all square 2-2. There's been a bit of physicality, and straight away a chance here for Liverpool.
Yeah, Mane down the left, in behind Chalobah on goal, shoots at goal, great save from Mendy down to his left-hand side. The offside flag has now gone up. They waited for the attack to go through. The officials being lenient to make sure that they get the decisions right today. He was on that edge of offside, and as he played it, it looks as though he's just about past Chalobah.
Yeah, that right foot's just gone ahead of Chalobah there, hasn't it? The angles were against him, trying to sort of turn his body. It's a good save, though, from Mendy. He gets strong hands to it anyway. But, yeah, that's a good prognosis for the rest of the second half, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Quick start to the second half, just like the first. The opening goal came through Sadio Mane, and then that was doubled through Mohamed Salah. Mane, sorry. Chelsea thought should have been off from an elbow on Azpilicueta, as Mount just holds off Konate here, as Kovacic and Pulisic were the goal scorers for Chelsea. Ball now with Kovacic, won by Fabinho. Henderson looking inside for Salah, and Jota now looking maybe down the line. The Portuguese turns back, tries to play it inside, blocked by Kovacic. And Liverpool have started this half as though they're going to try and dominate the possession. But I tell you what, both teams need to be a lot neater in possession, don't they?
They do. They need to be neater in possession. They need to be more organised in defence, because all the goals, of course, you can say that about almost every goal you see scored is avoidable in some way, but certainly Liverpool's organisation towards the end of the first half was lacking, and Chelsea made errors in both the goals that Liverpool scored. So that's something that the managers will be hoping their players can iron out in the second half. But from the neutrals' perspective, let's hope that the pace of the game doesn't slow down at all, because it was fascinating in the first half.
Absolutely. It was Chalobah who almost fell on the ball for Mane's goal, Alonso who didn't stand up to Mohamed Salah, Kovacic with an absolute screamer. Nothing really that Liverpool could have done. Maybe somebody could have got closer to him to put him off, but then the Pulisic goal was a mistake. But
there was, the ball was given away, and Liverpool were a little bit disjointed in terms of their offside line as well. But it's Liverpool who have started brightly in the second half, and they're in possession now.
Alexander-Arnold with a throw-in inside to Henderson. He tries to head the ball back to the right back, but Kante steps in and wins the ball back in with the feet of Pulisic now out to Alonso on the left-hand side. Henderson comes across to cover as Mane now presses as the ball comes back to Thiago Silva. He steers it long and forward, chested down by Tsimikas, back to his goalkeeper. Pressure provided by Azpilicueta all the way up the field. Kelleher turns it inside. Fabinho slips on the ball and just about gets away from Mason Mount. I tell you what, Fabinho is fortunate there as Alexander-Arnold goes down the line. It's won by Rudiger, out for a throw.
He is fortunate. I mean, he does well to recover after initially making a real mess of this. Kelleher looks up, sees that Fabinho has a lot of space. That is a really heavy touch. But Mason Mount might be frustrated they didn't actually get the ball off him there.
Yeah, it's his first. It's his first start since coming back from the COVID hiatus that he had after he and Alisson tested positive. Van Dijk, as Alisson is now positive, as Liverpool look to go down the left again to Mane, but out comes Mendy and fires it long as Van Dijk's underneath that one to win it. Jota with another header on, but can't keep it under his control. Azpilicueta turns quickly, plays it down the line, controlled by Pulisic as Van Dijk steps in to win another challenge and just thumps it long. Poor touch by Chalobah. Mane can't win it, but Tsimikas can. Looking to go forward again. Mane down the left. Jota's down the line. He goes inside, then back towards Mane. Chalobah with a tackle. Who did that one come off last? I think it was the Chelsea man, but Chalobah right in the thick of the action again.
Yeah, very much get involved there. It's out for a throw to Liverpool down the left-hand side. Not really seen too much from Chelsea in terms of an attacking move. Yeah, they had that half chance where Fabinho was almost caught in possession. But other than that, it has been Liverpool doing most of the work early doors in this second half.
Yeah, Tsimikas continuing his run in the team following Robertson's red card against Tottenham. So 3-game ban for that one. Of course, the Leeds United game was postponed, and therefore this will be his last of that suspension. Trent Alexander-Arnold now looking to the right-hand side, finds Mohamed Salah, takes it down with ease against Antonio Rudiger, steps inside. Good tackle though from the German, stood up really well, expected the Egyptian to cut inside and cut him off when he did so. Alexander-Arnold out to Henderson, back now with Konate. Liverpool have got possession on halfway, and it's the first time they've held that for quite a while. Just as I say that, Konate gives the ball away into Chalobah, pulled back by Jota, And foul given. Jota has cut a frustrated figure today. He's given away a number of fouls that he didn't think were, but I think they were.
I think that was a foul there. As I say, it's one of those where if he was trying to get away from the ball and the defender held him like that, he would expect a free kick to be given. So I suppose he's not unique in that respect. The footballers always think it's different when it's happening to them or when they're doing something. But I have to say, I've made this point about Jota before, that I thought he was on a bit of a hiding to nothing going to Liverpool initially. He's just going to be a bit of cover, occasionally getting a few games. But he's been excellent. He's got some really important goals for Liverpool. Just having a bit more of a quiet game this afternoon. Yeah,
he's a player that likes to be on the edge, isn't he, of that attacking flair, as so does Sadio Mane, and he could have crossed that edge within the first 10 seconds or so, but stayed on the field. Got a yellow card as Kante steps away from a couple of Liverpool midfielders. Goes out to the left-hand side. Great ball through the Liverpool line. Alexander-Arnold trying to get back as Alonso's on the ball. Cuts inside on his right foot and blazes his shot over the bar. Not for the first time. He's missed the target.
He's made the wrong option there. Marcus Alonso's got such a great left foot. His right foot isn't as famous, though, let's be honest. And he's got two players waiting inside the 6-yard box. He's got Havertz and he's got Mount. Pulisic is arriving as well. That should really... I made the comment in the first half that the shot should have been his last option. And once again, he should be looking to pass this, not shooting with his weaker foot, scooping it with his right foot as well. So it never looked even close to going to goal.
Yeah, Henderson was coming across, and if he'd looked up and opened up his body, he could have played a pass across as Kante wins the ball back, as he so often does. Konate is able to clear away. Mason Mount's threaded the ball forward as Pulisic misses out to header against Tsimikas. Now, Mane turning against Chalobah. No foul against Chalobah there. Mane is complaining at that one, thought he was being pulled back as Kante picks up the ball in the middle of the park. Across to Kovacic, in steps Fabinho. That's good work from him as Mane dribbling away. Advantage to Liverpool. Fabinho was taken out. Salah down the right, pulled back by Rudiger. Back now with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Another advantage from referee Anthony Taylor. Konate into the feet of Fabinho on the centre circle. Looks to lift one over the top to Jota. He's through on goal on his left foot. Takes it outside. Fires it towards goal. Great save by Mendy. I thought he should have gone towards goal, but he touched it out to his left. Good save by Mendy. Offside.
The flag goes up in any case, but that doesn't change the fact that it was a fantastic strike from Jota. He's very close.
I think Rudiger plays him on.
Very close. As I say, it's one of those where we've seen a few of those given and not given. Earlier in the week, Harry Kane was adjudged to have been offside when the tip of his boot seemed to be over the line, and a very similar circumstance, Phil Foden against Brentford, wasn't offside. So there is still a little bit of that inconsistency, which I actually think, in a strange way, the football authorities quite like, because it just makes it we can have more of a debate about it. There's these little grey areas, and I think that in many ways is what the authorities like to see. But here come Liverpool again now with the ball up to Jota. He tries to get it to Mane, but Chalobah gets in the way. Yeah,
poor control from Jota, and Chalobah plays it forward to Kante. Now down the right-hand side, Pulisic has got space in front of him to sprint forward. Milner is trying to cover back as Tsimikas is there. Cross comes in, blocked away by the Greek, and it goes out for a Chelsea corner down the right-hand side. Chelsea once again coming down that right-hand side, and I think it looks as though in the second half Pulisic and Mount have switched sides. Pulisic has often found himself on the right this half, where he was on the left in the first where he scored.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is also get Havertz involved, because Pulisic and Mount have ended up playing through the middle so many times, so perhaps by switching them it just makes it that much more pronounced that Havertz has to go through the middle, but he's still not getting involved as much as the other two players are.
No, Rudiger is on the front post from this corner, although he walks towards the back post now. He's right behind the goalkeeper Kelleher, who beat him to the free kick that Alonso took before Kovacic slammed home the volley. It will be Alonso from this corner kick. Kelleher being held by Azpilicueta, comes into the box, almost won by Rudiger, then Milner steers it away. Jota misses out on a header. The clearance attempt by Mane will be won by Van Dijk, headed forward by Kovacic. Van Dijk's underneath it again, wins that header. Mane turns and opens up his body. Salah going through now in behind Kante, who does brilliantly to put on the afterburners and win the ball as Mendy just about gets the ball past the Egyptian.
Yeah, you've got to be so quick there with Salah trying to get after that ball, but Kante, as I say, he really is the epitome of the central midfielder, isn't he? Whether he's going forward, just controlling the ball in midfield, or indeed winning the ball back for his team in defence. N'Golo Kante is everywhere, and Chelsea just starting to grow into this second half now.
Azpilicueta looks to switch the play, deflects off a man, and Alexander-Arnold heads the ball back to Kelleher. You just think back to the game where, I can't remember who it was against, where Jorginho took too much time underneath the ball and miscontrolled it, and as Mane goes through now, I'll break off as Mane coming through on the left-hand side, takes too much time. Azpilicueta comes across, offside flag goes up once again.
Well, it spares Mane's blushes on this occasion. But really, he dwelt on the ball there. He had so much time to get rid of it that he probably even had too much time, and he just ended up losing it. But it wasn't offside, and now Tsimikas pushing on Christian Pulisic, and it's going to be a free kick to Chelsea.
It will be another Liverpool attack where they've had a great chance on goal. They've let the play continue and then pulled it back for offside. We'll see this one. Fabinho was the man running through. Yeah, he's well offside there, isn't he, Fabinho? It's the right pass to make. If he'd left it to Mo Salah was in.
Mo Salah still had a good chance of getting there first, I agree. So but from Mane's point of view, he probably thought he was, actually compared to the previous two, he was actually well offside with that one, wasn't he? But still went after it, and the ball now back with Kelleher.
55 minutes gone. It's Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Liverpool team in possession in the second half and dominating it as Chalobah cuts out Milner's pass, touches it inside, slides into a tackle. Jota can't win it back off him, and now Kante to drive through the middle of the park. Opens up his body, finds Azpilicueta just about on the right-hand side. He then goes back to Chalobah, and Chelsea looking to settle things down. They've not really had too much of the possession in the second half, as opposed to their first half where they dominated the ball.
Well, absolutely, and now we can see Chelsea just trying to get a little bit more energy into what they're doing as Pulisic puts pressure on Van Dijk, and that looks like it's come off Van Dijk for a Chelsea corner.
Yeah, he's just gone to toe that one away. I think he was trying to control it and then maybe play it back to his goalkeeper. When he saw the American coming, he's had to just quickly toe it away as Thomas Tuchel tells his fans within Stamford Bridge to get up and provide some supporting voice here from this corner. Once again, Rudiger and Azpilicueta are the two men near the goalkeeper, Krimin Kelleher. Alonso to take this corner kick. In-swinging left-footed ball to come in. Whips it in between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. Won by a Liverpool head, then smashed clear by Alexander-Arnold as Pulisic tries to get underneath this one. He lets it bounce. Jota backs into the American. Wins the ball. Looking to run away. Steers it forward towards Salah. Salah up against Kante once again. It's that battle. Shoots on goal. Mendy with a great save. Wow, what a moment.
Unbelievable. Mo Salah should have been stopped twice there in the build-up to that. Just does enough to keep the ball away from the Chelsea defender and then makes his mind up early to shoot. We'll see the replay here. It's been followed by Pulisic of all people. He can't get on the end of it. Jota does well to thread that through to Salah, and then Salah makes his mind up, just fires that ball towards the top corner. But Mendy sees it and is able to make a fabulous save.
Yeah, he knows he's never going to get past Kante there, Salah, so he tries the strike on goal, opens up. I tell you what, it's a brilliant effort, but Mendy with two hands is just about able to get there.
He's had a couple of poorer games recently, Edouard Mendy, but he has been excellent for Chelsea this season. Here comes the corner.
Corner whipped in. Konate with a free header, can't guide that one on goal. It was slightly behind him. He's had to reach, or it may have been Sadio Mane. In the end, the ball loops and lands on the roof of the net. Salah's shot was a great effort, but it wasn't quite in the postage stamp.
No, it wasn't, but it's difficult to expect that of him when he's hitting it on the run and he's got a Chelsea defender right on his back. But still take nothing away from the save there from Mendy. He did really well.
Yeah, Salah in so much confidence, but Mendy is a very, very good goalkeeper that's very hard to get past. Salah's had a few opportunities today. He scored one as Milner misses the ball. It goes through to Kante now as Van Dijk sprints across, plays it back to his goalkeeper, controls it under pressure into midfield now with Konate, opens up his body into Henderson, can flick the ball past Kovacic, nips it inside to Salah, advantage for Liverpool. Henderson was caught. Tsimikas down the line to Mane. He's caught by Azpilicueta and sprints past him as he plays the 1-2. Now inside to Salah. Back towards Mane. Jota's inside, cuts inside himself. Maybe a shooting chance. Sweeps towards goal and Mendy with another good save, but you'd expect him to make it.
Well, yeah, on this occasion it's more at the height that the goalkeeper likes. It's in a good position here as Mendy can see it all the way. But again, lovely link-up play here from Liverpool at the edge of the area between Milner, then Mane, then Salah, back to Mane. And a strike, as you say, that it's on target, but it's at the right height for the keeper. It's not quite heading into the corner. Mendy pushing it away for a corner.
He went for the near post there, Mane, as Milner crosses in the returned corner. It's headed away by Thiago Silva. Tsimikas comes in to battle for that one. Beats Havertz to as it comes back now to Jordan Henderson. Controls it and smashes it back to his goalkeeper just to absolutely make sure there. But it's Liverpool who are carving out the chances since that effort from Alonso where he cut inside. They're just not quite getting a shot on goal that troubles Mendy enough.
No, they're not, but they're getting 2 or 3 chances in a row here now. Chelsea are just trying to respond, and it's just going from one side to the other. Chelsea started this second half very much in defence. They had a 5-minute spell where they started to grow into the game, but now it's Liverpool again.
Konate smashes one forward. Under pressure is Thiago Silva. Heads it away well to the left-hand side. Alonso nods it back down inside into Kovacic. He goes back to the German Rudiger. Alonso back into the centre of defence with Thiago Silva. And Chelsea can try and mount an attack from here. He curls it out to the right into Azpilicueta. He goes inside to Kante, who's finding so much space in the midfield, isn't he? He keeps picking up the ball and driving forward with it. Mount goes in behind to Pulisic. Flag stays down for now, and then eventually comes up.
Yeah, a few seconds later, Pulisic there wagging his finger that he wasn't offside, but certainly the linesman makes a decision fairly quickly. Probably has got some confirmation from VAR as well. And a free kick to Liverpool. But still anybody's game this. I wasn't expecting the second half to be played at any slower pace than the first. Both sides are still really testing each other, and it's a fascinating game.
Absolutely. Just coming up to the hour mark in this game. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Second half, 3 shots to 1 to Liverpool, 2 on target to 0 to Chelsea. But Chelsea have had 3 different opposition touches in the opposition box.
And still winning it in terms of the possession as well. So Chelsea are still seeing more of the ball, but Liverpool creating more with it as Liverpool now give it away.
Van Dijk gives it away. Kante tries to play it in behind Milner. Is just about there to steer the ball away, is he? He's under pressure from Mount. Goes left-footed down the line. Down the line into Tsimikas, who flicks it down the line himself. Maybe a handball against Azpilicueta. Ball continues. This play will allow to continue as Trent Alexander-Arnold tries to put in a foot there. Fabinho eventually does, as it's touched down by Kovacic. Looking to go down the left-hand side. Alexander-Arnold's there once again. Henderson just inside him, but that handball wouldn't have counted if Chelsea would have scored. As Rudiger goes down the left, it has to be the goal scorer who handballs the ball, and it will be pulled back via VAR, but as it was Azpilicueta and it was dubious, it wouldn't have been switched. It's headed back by that man into Mason Mount, now crosses it into the feet of Van Dijk, who steers that one away, but only to the edge of his own box, and Milner heads away, but it's headed back by Kante, out to the right-hand side. Good header from the Frenchman. Azpilicueta wide to Mount, whips it towards the near post. Kelleher's there, nobody really attacked it.
Nobody attacked it. It was always a little bit too close to the goalkeeper as well, but important for Chelsea to respond with a little bit of attacking possession. Here come Liverpool straight up the other end.
Yeah, Jota trying to get past a couple of men. Kovacic with a good foot in there, but as soon as Liverpool fire that ball into a man, and they're able to turn, aren't they? It's 3-on-3 at the back there for Chelsea, as the ball threaded through for Chelsea though, as Havertz now on the left hand side. Konate dragged out of position, comes back in towards Alonso, first time cross, it's fallen to Pulisic, saved by Kelleher, and picks up the pieces.
Well, that's superb from Kelleher in the end, because it looked as though it might just get through his hands. We missed the first Chelsea player. Strong strike there from Pulisic, well saved by Kelleher, as Mane now gets that ball into Jota, who's brought down. No free kick though. Chelsea trying to get forward on the attack straight away.
I think it was Havertz going for the initial header. They all missed it, and it fell to Pulisic on the left-footed volley. He hit it first time. It was too close to the Irish goalkeeper though, as Alonso and Chelsea still on the front foot. Out to the left-hand side, it's Havertz back to Kovacic. You wonder when the first substitutions of this game are going to be made as well, and how will they impact the game. Chalobah out to the right to Azpilicueta, looking inside, finds Kante, into Pulisic, back heel, back to the Frenchman. Milner slides in to block that angle off as Kante turns back on his left foot, looks for the edge of the box, finds Henderson though in the Liverpool shirt, who opens it up to Mane. Chalobah heads it forward, and that one will beat Azpilicueta for pace and goes out for a throw-in on the right-hand side.
Yeah, up for a throw on the right-hand side. As we see here, it was Mount who didn't quite get a touch on it, and Pulisic doesn't actually get the right connection on that either, but it was still a decent strike.
Yeah, it was off his shin, wasn't it? Tsimikas was the man that was closest to him. It went straight at the face of Kelleher, who was able to pull 2 hands together and palm it away, and didn't get enough power on it to force it back to the Chelsea player, who was coming in at the far post as well.
Yeah, well, it was such a close one there, but Chelsea now just trying to get into some sort of mode here where they're pushing back on Liverpool. It really is end-to-end. There's no one being able to get much of an advantage here, as Azpilicueta and Mane collide there. It's out for a throw to Chelsea down the right-hand side.
As it's taken quickly, goes down the line is a Mount, but the play will be pulled back here instead. Just looking at the benches here, as it looks as though Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain are potentially getting ready for Liverpool, 2 midfield options. They don't really have an attacking option today besides Oxlade-Chamberlain. Minamino's out, Origi's out, Firmino's out. So you wonder whether Oxlade-Chamberlain might play in a wide position.
They could ask him to do that, potentially. Can't really see anybody else on the pitch here for Liverpool that could go in a more forward position than who they've already got there now. So, yeah there is, even these sides at the top of the league, with the amount of injuries and positive COVID results, it really is stretching their squad.
Yeah, Chelsea have got Hudson-Odoi, Jorginho, Sal Niguez, as Hakim Ziyech as well on the bench, as well as Ross Barkley. So they're more struggling for defensive numbers, as Sarr is the only real defender that they've got on their bench. As Mane plays the ball in towards Milner, sliding tackle comes in, it's won by Kovacic. He's such a strong man, is the Croatian in the middle of the park, as he has a few words with James Milner afterwards.
He
as well.
does, yeah. Well, we could see that certainly the Liverpool bench were unhappy about that not being given as a free kick. I don't think there was anything wrong with that at all. I thought it was a fair challenge, just out for a Liverpool throw.
Yeah, I think Kovacic and Kante have been two of the best players on the field today, I have to say. They've been battling really well in the middle of the park for Chelsea, and they've upset that midfield three of Liverpool. As Salah turns it over the back of the Chelsea line in towards Mane. Chalobah just about able to turn that away for a corner.
Well, he was under pressure there, Chalobah, and he was probably looking to try and get it out for a throw if he could, but it was just too many Liverpool players too close to goal. He couldn't quite to take that risk. Out for a corner as Mane now turns to those travelling Liverpool fans who are behind the Chelsea goal in this second half. And they're going to try and put some pressure here on Mendy as Konate and Van Dijk are up from the back.
Absolutely, it's a corner from the far side of the field. The substitution's not going to come on before this set piece. So we'll see how Chelsea line up their defence here as Alexander-Arnold's the man to go out to over the far side for this out-swinging right-footed corner. There's four men on the edge of the box for Liverpool and four men in and around the penalty spot. Eventually it will be whipped in towards that penalty spot. Van Dijk attacks it, goes over his head, falls to Salah, maybe looks to the edge of the box to Tsimikas, strikes at goal, comes off a Chelsea player, maybe, no. They say it didn't come off Thiago Silva.
No, I think ironically, if it had done, it might have deflected towards goal, because it's not a particularly good effort this from Tsimikas. Doesn't get too much in terms of accuracy on this one, and I'm not sure if it does get a deflection in the end.
No, the question was Thiago Silva, who stuck out a right boot as he think he pulled it away as well.
I think just in time. There was a little bit of spin on the ball, so if they had any kind of touch on Thiago Silva, there would have been a slight deviation, but I couldn't see one.
No, I couldn't either, as Tsimikas' shot was poor, you have to say, as Chalobah knocks one long now up towards the halfway line. Van Dijk head-chests it down in towards Fabinho. Tsimikas now looking to pick up the ball, and those Liverpool substitutions still waiting. They did bring on a couple of subs in Naby Keita and James Milner in their last game against Leicester City, and it was around about that time that they started to lose way, and that was when Ademola Lookman, just as Ademola Lookman scored, just as Keita came on for Oxlade-Chamberlain. So I'm sure Liverpool won't want a repeat of that one.
No, it's absolutely. Well, that's one of the reasons you mentioned they weren't making the change before a corner. It's almost a superstition in football that you don't make changes before corners because it just throws everything out in terms of attack and defence and where everyone needs to be positioned for a set piece. But certainly I'm not surprised that they're thinking about making a change, because this game is still there to be won. Both sides would say that, of course, but Liverpool perhaps just wanted to make the first change just to strengthen that midfield, perhaps.
Yeah, I think Milner will probably be one of the players to come off, and whether it's another midfielder or an attacker, maybe Diogo Jota down the middle, and they put Salah up top, or maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain can play in that false nine role. We're yet to see what those substitutions will be as it comes out to the right-hand side for Chelsea, and we've just about getting to the three-quarter mark in this game, Paul, so a good chance to slot over to you for the rest of the half.
Thank you very much, Matt. Yes, 67 minutes gone as a long ball is played towards the right-hand side for Azpilicueta, under pressure from Tsimikas, plays a 1-2 with a sliding Pulisic, and then the ball is played in. It's over the head of Kai Havertz. It's closed down here by Marcus Alonso on the left-hand side, leaves it now for Mason Mount. Back to Mateo Kovacic, and Rudiger joins the attack now on this left-hand side. Ball played back towards Thiago Silva. He thought about playing a long ball, but just plays it square to Chalobah. And Chalobah now over towards Azpilicueta, inside to Kante. Two Liverpool players trying to close him down. Kante going back towards Azpilicueta. And then the ball eventually back towards the halfway line here as Salah plays it short now towards Antonio Rudiger. Over on the left-hand side now is Marcus Alonso. Back to Mason Mount. At the edge of the area now, back to Kovacic. Space here for Alonso. Players in the box to aim for as well. Lifts that cross in. It's over the head of Pulisic. Is closed down here by Chalobah, who joins the attack. Finds Azpilicueta. Chalobah goes into the box. Azpilicueta's left-footed cross headed away by Van Dijk, only as far as Kovacic, who then goes back towards half a line. But this is getting more intense from Chelsea now.
Yeah, certainly dominating the ball. It was Sadio Mane who was the man back to win that header previously, wasn't it? That shows how Liverpool have been pushed back in these last few moments.
Mane back to win the header, and Chalobah on the overlap at the edge of the box in a passing move. So everything's gone on its head here. But now this double change for Liverpool. And the first change, looking at who it's going to be Alexander-Arnold coming on for Diogo Jota.
Yeah, Oxlade-Chamberlain to go down that middle potentially, or whether he's going to go wide right, we'll see. But Jota's been at the forefront of a lot of things, hasn't he, today? But it's not quite worked for him, really. He's dropped off a lot into midfield, which has allowed the spacing behind for the other men, but it's not been his day. And I think the other one's going to be Keita for Milner.
Keita for Milner, yes. So Milner off the field now. He didn't look too happy there, Milner. That might just be because of the way the game's going. I don't think he's particularly angry at being substituted, James Milner. He's such a good player within the Liverpool camp. As you mentioned, there's younger players pretty much at the top of their international game who still can't get in ahead. But there's going to be a change here for Chelsea as well. And this looks like quite an attacking change here, because they're going to take off Trevor Chalobah and replace him with Jorginho.
Yeah, well, Brendan Rodgers waited to see what Liverpool were going to do the other game against Leicester, and then made a complete change of formation. And this could be another one. This could be Thomas Tuchel in the head of Pep Lijnders this time, bringing on Jorginho, another midfielder for a defender.
Absolutely. So just confirmation, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on for Diogo Jota, Naby Keita on for James Milner. Those are the two Liverpool changes, and the change for Chelsea. Trevor Chalobah, centre-back, is replaced by Jorginho, a central midfielder. So whether or not that means they just go to a flat back four with Silva and Rudiger, although with Chelsea it won't be a flat back four. It's like basically playing with three at the back, but there's only two of them.
Yeah, I think Pulisic has gone to right full back and Azpilicueta's dropped in.
Well, in that case, yeah. Well, so he's still trying to keep that shape then, but giving himself that attacking option of Pulisic being on the right-hand side. So it's still quite a bold move, because it does mean that Pulisic is going to have some more defensive duties now. Yeah,
absolutely. He's played a right back a few times this season. He did it against Brighton, and of course they only picked up a point in that game. But he's certainly been averse to go into that position when he's been required.
Absolutely, and as I mentioned, Chelsea's last 6 games at home, they've only won 2 of them, and one of them was against Juventus when everything was done and dusted in the Champions League anyway. Since then, a draw against Manchester United, a win against Leeds, and that was only just as well, with the last-minute slightly controversial penalty, and then draws against Everton and Brighton. Everton struggling recently as well, so it just shows you that Chelsea haven't been that strong at home, and that's why it's so vital for them to try and get 3 points here today.
Absolutely, they need to pick up that fortress Stamford Bridge, what it used to be. They went a couple of years without losing, didn't they, under Jose Mourinho, and it's not quite been the same since.
Of course, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool had an amazingly long run of not losing games at Anfield before. Was it Burnley of all teams came up and ruined that particular run towards the end of that first lockdown season. But getting back to action here, it's 71 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. Costa Tsimikas with a long clearance down the left-hand side. That's not a good header from Azpilicueta. Gives half a chance here for Mane, who flicks it past Azpilicueta. But a combination of the Chelsea captain and Kante just about dispossess Mane. The ball is cleared long, and it actually finds its way through to Kai Havertz, but he needs some support as Mason Mount's got a bit further forward. Havertz then takes it into the right corner before cutting back into the middle, plays his square to Kovacic, who's joining the attack now. Back over to the right-hand side. Here's Pulisic, 3 players in the box for him to aim at. Cross deflects off Keita into the face of Tsimikas. Goes straight back towards Pulisic, though. He shapes to shoot with the left foot, gets some curl on it as well. But just rising over the bar. A bit of... he's defending himself there as well, because I think Jorginho and a couple of other Chelsea players saying he should have passed it. He just turns around and says, well, come on, I had a chance to shoot, so I did.
Yeah, and he hit it quite well, didn't he? I don't know whether he was complaining, saying it was a deflection, or whether he was complaining for handball just before, but it clearly struck the face of Tsimikas, didn't it?
Oh, it did, absolutely. Yeah, it might just be a knee-jerk reaction. We know that players will always try and appeal something just in case. But, 10 all in terms of efforts on goal. And 2 all in terms of goals, but it's actually Liverpool leading 6-4 in terms of efforts on target. That last effort from Pulisic, of course, was over the bar. But here comes Mane now, breaking into the Chelsea penalty area. Just stopped by Azpilicueta, cleared back into midfield. Fabinho now to Naby Keita. And Keita has Tsimikas over on the left-hand side. That's where the ball's gone. Back into Naby Keita. Now it's with Fabinho. Finds Mane. Skips away from a couple of players. Mane runs into... Well, he runs in. They were waiting for a free kick there, Chelsea, which doesn't happen. I think Pulisic thought as though he was pushed off the ball, and Anthony Taylor almost stood there, almost giving himself a mental replay before deciding there was no foul. Yeah,
absolutely. It was Mane who's he's so physical, isn't he, in battling in this game? But there's more men, isn't it, for Chelsea back in and around that midfield area now.
Well, here comes Tsimikas, though. He gets away from Jorginho, gets to the byline and fires a cross in. Just a little bit too much pace on that, but Alexander-Arnold follows up and keeps the ball in play on the right-hand side. Still 4 players to aim for in that box. Plays it to the edge of the area. Fabinho flicks it into Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain now under pressure there from Alonso. Just has to hold this up before going back towards the halfway line. But again, Liverpool just starting to push forward again now. Chelsea able to repel everything for the time being, but they're coming again here now down the left-hand side with Tsimikas in towards Mane. Back into Tsimikas again. He's got Keita just ahead of him. And then eventually goes back towards the halfway line.
Yeah, there's 2 up front for Chelsea now. Mount and Havertz are the 2 pressing, and then there's Kovacic and Kante alongside Jorginho in midfield, and Kovacic has won it.
Kovacic has won it. Well, it looks like the referee's playing an advantage because Mount comes away with the ball. I'm not sure that Chelsea have got much of an advantage there, really. They had to stop pretty much stone dead whilst Chelsea players were pushing forward. And now they've actually gone back into their own half anyway, with Azpilicueta now finding Thiago Silva. Side to Jorginho. Pressure there from Sadio Mane. Chelsea still in possession here now. Jorginho back in towards Azpilicueta. Kante down the right-hand side looking for the run of Havertz, who looked to me like he was coming back from an offside position. I just wonder if perhaps he's going to be the next change for Chelsea, because he really hasn't bedded down as much as, say, Mount or certainly Pulisic has.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think those other two have been brighter, and I do feel as if that's a thing with playing Liverpool. You're more likely to have success with smaller, quicker, nimble players as opposed to a bigger man like Havertz, who down the middle has not really shown the prowess that we know he can provide.
No, and we just saw Thomas Tuchel there furiously screaming at someone, and it couldn't have been for the actual offside decision, so it may well have been a bit of a barrage to Havertz there just to wake up a little bit. We've got 15 minutes to play in this game. It's still 2-2. Ball goes out of play for a throw to Liverpool down the right-hand side, as Jordan Henderson waiting to take this one. Goes back towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now it's with Konate and Virgil van Dijk just inside the Liverpool half. Konate steps forward, finds Tsimikas. It's an early run from Oxlade-Chamberlain, which Tsimikas chose to ignore, and now he's being closed down by Pulisic, having to go back towards Van Dijk. But Liverpool keep possession here with Alexander-Arnold down the right-hand side. He plays it in to Henderson, back to Fabinho. Tsimikas has got Mane on the left-hand side. Both these sides have 10 goals scored in the last 15 minutes of games this season, as do Man City. And cross coming in from Tsimikas now from the left-hand side, headed away by Marcus Alonso, kept alive now by Mo Salah, back towards Naby Keita. There's a couple of options there for Keita, just plays a quick triangle there with Salah and Alexander-Arnold. Back into Fabinho now. This is a long spell of possession for Liverpool, but they're not getting close to the box here, really, are they? No,
there was just that cross from Tsimikas that got them closer, but in terms of the edge of the box, I think it's the numbers from Chelsea, those midfield three that are sat in there now. It's really tight, it's really hard for Liverpool to get through those gaps.
Able to get through, but they're trying again here now with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. A ball out towards the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold flicks it away from Alonso, but then there's covering from Kovacic. The combination of Alonso and Kovacic do now clear the ball up towards the halfway line. For Kai Havertz. He runs straight into Ibrahima Konate, who stays down on the ground. And, for the time being, Liverpool certainly weren't happy with that challenge. The referee has stopped play now.
I think it was a combination of that and the one on Fabinho. I think that Fabinho was slightly caught late as he played the ball backwards. The Konate one, I think he goes for the ball. Havertz is there as well. I didn't quite see who won it. We'll see it better from this reverse angle here. Konate going with his head. Havertz's arm is across him. I don't think it's intentional. It just caught maybe the elbow.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see from this angle. It didn't look as though Havertz was trying to... No, I don't think so. I mean, the elbow is up. Whether or not he's deliberately trying to hit Ibrahima Konate, I think that'd be a bit strong to say.
Yeah, it's jumping leverage, isn't it? He's jumped up, his arms have gone up, and therefore they're outside him, whereas Konate is trying to go around him. And he has won the ball, but just before that, headed the arm of Havertz. It'll be a Liverpool restart with the ball, but no foul, no cards or anything like that.
No card or nothing like that, but Konate is still being checked over.
It could have been a boxer's cut on the eyebrow. That
could be, potentially it could be. I mean, he certainly stayed down. It hasn't really moved too much since then. And as I say, if I'm just trying to think, of course, a head injury on its own, it has to be a concussion injury, doesn't it, before you have a substitution that's outside of the three. So I'm not sure this would qualify Konate in this particular case. If they did need to change him, it would just have to be one of the three substitutions. So just a bit of a pause in the game now, as Konate is still being checked over. And Anthony Taylor just explaining everything to the Chelsea players, because I think the Chelsea players are unhappy that the game hasn't been restarted. As Konate is actually off the field.
Yeah, he is. He's got white on his thigh, hasn't he, from where he went down, because it was the join of the halfway line and the throwing line on the right-hand side. I think they're checking his eyes out here. He's got no cut. He's covering one eye and looking at the other one.
They are doing all the concussion tests now just to see if he is okay to play on. Meanwhile, Chelsea are preparing their second change of the afternoon. Of the evening now, I suppose, as it is gone 6 o'clock. It's going to be Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on here for Chelsea. And just waiting to see who he's going to be replacing. I just wonder if this might be Havertz, because he has had a bit of an anonymous afternoon.
Yeah, he has. It would mean that both Mount and here up front, and therefore they're both shorter players and livelier players pressing that Liverpool defensive line.
Yes, and it is Kai Havertz that goes off. Callum Hudson-Odoi on to replace him. But much like Havertz, although slightly different positions, a slightly different situation in terms of one being a signing and one being a former youth player. But Hudson-Odoi, he needs to step up as well, because he's not really been in the Chelsea team consistently enough as his supposed, well, not supposed, he is a very talented player, but just not consistent enough.
Yeah, he's one of those that's been looked at by other clubs down the years as well. As Rudiger goes down on the edge of his own box, I think he is rather fortunate to get a little bit of a nick off the Egyptian Mo Salah there and win a free kick.
Yeah, but he just overplayed that a little bit, and then, as I say, just got that contact. It was enough to win his side the free kick.
Yeah, Rudiger runs 10 yards up the field to try and take the free kick further up. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi is one of those that's often played at right wing back as well, hasn't he? He's not really settled down in a set position.
Well, I think ideally he should be playing in that attacking three, but whether or not he's just not got the form, whether or not they've tried him there in that position so many times. As you say, they've tried him in that Reece James position when he's in that right-hand side of the four. But meanwhile, there's going to be a free kick and a potential booking here on the halfway line as Fabinho brings down Pulisic.
I don't think he touched him. I think it's the fact that he was there and in the way of the run of Pulisic. He's had to take avoiding action.
Let's have a look here. Is this...
touched him.
He's not actually touched him, no. So it's a strange one, really. I mean, I always remember years ago Nigel Atkins trying to justify Jay Rodriguez diving for a penalty by saying, well, he knew he was going to get fouled, so he just dived to avoid being injured. And I thought that's a unique way of looking at it. But I suppose, there is a little bit of that. Players do sometimes just take avertive action just to try and avoid getting an injury. But on that occasion, absolutely right. No contact with Fabinho. Just his sheer presence was enough to put off the Chelsea man. But meantime, it's a throw to Chelsea down the left-hand side, and it's with Alonso back to Kovacic. Kovacic gets away from Henderson. He carries on his run. He goes down. He's brought down, says the referee. Naby Keita doing the international symbol for a dive, but Anthony Taylor thinks otherwise.
Yeah, 2 in a row in the question for diving. This time Kovacic, who's been bright in this game, tries to cut inside of Keita. I couldn't see from that angle. It was too fast to see whether it was a nick. Was it a knee-on-knee nick potentially as Kovacic cut to his left?
There is a bit of a knee there. I would argue, if I was being a defence barrister, that almost Kovacic was trying to find the knee. But then, of course, if Keita doesn't put the knee out, then there can't be any contact. So it's one of those where Keita wants to go for the ball, but just didn't quite time it.
Yeah, it's a great chance as well for Chelsea from this free kick. It favours the right foot. However, they've got Marcus Alonso on the field, who is very good from set pieces, as is Mason Mount. He might fancy this one. Jorginho's taken a free kick or two in his time as well, though he tends to be more the penalty kick taker. So it is right-footed Mount and left-footed Alonso currently standing over this one for Chelsea. I fancy this.
This is a really good chance, and because they've struggled from open play in the last few minutes, Chelsea, this might be exactly the sort of chance they need. If Mount or indeed Alonso can get the right whip on this one, it is going to be Mason Mount. Fires it into the wall, gets the rebound and fires that one towards goal. It's on target, but Kelleher dives across and makes a good save.
Yeah, it's a good strike, isn't it? That volley back from Mason Mount as it came back to him off the wall. A combination, it was Kanate that bounced back to him, and Kanate tried to get in the way of the result. And he's gone down again, Kanate, then after the free kick, but looks okay to continue.
He does, yeah. He's certainly been through the walls this afternoon, Kanate. But here come Liverpool now with Keita playing a ball through towards Mane, and Mendy comes out, times his run perfectly there and clears the ball upfield. And now Hudson-Odoi chasing a ball after he was played through by Mason Mount. Kanate pushed him over, says the referee, although Kanate has a different view of that. But not only is it a free kick, it's a booking for the Liverpool man as well.
Yeah, I think the Liverpool man there has lent on Hudson-Odoi, and he was running after it and was a little bit off balance, and he's much a bigger man. He's barely touched him, but he has nudged him in the back with the forearm, and Hudson-Odoi has gone down. But Chelsea, once again, good chance for a set piece.
It's a great chance here for Chelsea. Not so much of a shooting opportunity this time because it's way over on the right-hand side. Although, in fairness, Marcus Alonso's got enough of a whip in his left foot to try and get this on target. But you would imagine this will be a cross. You
would so. However, it's a very small wall for Liverpool. Mohamed Salah and Naby Keita are the two in the wall because Liverpool are trying to flood the numbers in there, of course, to stop the cross. I wonder if Mason Mount and Alonso are saying, why don't you just have a little whip and a pop here?
Look where Kelleher has positioned himself as well. He's left 2/3 of his goal open at the near post. So if Alonso can get enough pace on this, may well be that Mount wants to try with the right foot to sort of be even more deceptive here. But we'll wait to see. There's 5 Chelsea players up trying to stay on side as Alonso does go for goal, but Kelleher second-guessed it. As soon as Alonso moved to take the free kick, Kelleher moved over to the middle and in the end makes an easy standing save.
Yeah, I suppose that's where your homework helps. That Chelsea, if they're used to playing in with a right footer from that position, position, then Kelleher knows that it has to be a shot from Alonso.
Absolutely, and Kelleher in the end had no problems in saving that one. 84, coming up to 84 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It's Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2, and a big strong header there from Virgil van Dijk up towards the halfway line. Played up in the air by Thiago Silva. The ball drops to Alexander-Arnold, who just lashes the right foot of that one, really. Volleys it out for a throw to Chelsea down the left-hand side. It's with Marcos Alonso now. Looking for options left and right. Alonso gets this in towards Jorginho. Back over towards the halfway line now. Rudiger being closed down here by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Mane's getting involved as well, but Chelsea keep possession now. Jorginho going back towards Azpilicueta. His ball to Mount. Just needed to set in himself, but he does control it. Plays it out to Pulisic. Right-hand edge of the penalty area now. Pulisic against Tsimikas. Plays it in towards Mount. It's stopped, but it goes back to Pulisic. Inside the penalty area. Trying to get away here from Tsimikas. Can't find the space. He goes back to Mount. Makes a Mount's cross is headed up in the air. Well, initially deflected up in the air by Fabinho before it's headed away by Van Dijk. Loose ball still with Chelsea, though, just outside the penalty area as Azpilicueta goes back towards Thiago Silva. And now a long ball over the top from Antonio Rudiger. One for Pulisic to chase. He just about keeps it in play. Tsimikas is blocking his path into the box. He goes back towards Kante. Kante back to Pulisic now, and he's got options at the edge of the area. No options in the box, really, other than Hudson-Odoi, who was just on the edge being marked by Konate. And now Jorginho flicks the ball over the top for Kante. The flag stays down for the time being. At least Kante puts it onto his right, then onto his left. And that's not a particularly good ball to the edge of the area, and it's now back with Jorginho.
Yeah, it was Jorginho back now with Rudiger out to the left-hand side. Kante got into a great position but couldn't quite provide the ball in end. Hudson-Odoi here has got a good chance to whip one into the box as well. Cuts back on his right foot. Then there's the support from Kovacic. Back to the edge of the box. He's looking like it comes off Kovacic's hand, maybe. Play on, says the referee. Hudson-Odoi down the line, looks to cross this one. Blocked away by Alexander-Arnold.
Well, the Liverpool players are still asking the question here. Alexander-Arnold is fuming there. But it looks as though it has just been given as a Chelsea corner. Certainly, it looks as though the home side are finishing the game stronger now.
Yeah, absolutely. They're on the front foot. They're penning Liverpool back. We've hardly seen anything of Oxlade-Chamberlain since he came onto the field, and that's illustration of that.
Absolutely, as Rudiger and Konate fighting for space in that 6-yard box. It's played towards Rudiger. He gets his head to it, but he was leaning away. Spent so much time worrying about getting into position. He didn't really have the power on the header in the end.
Yeah, it's a really difficult one. Running away from the goal that you're trying to aim at, trying to glance it towards goal to get enough power on. It's very difficult to get it past the goalkeeper, but a good attempt nonetheless.
It was a good effort, and it's a short goal kick now played between Kelleher and Van Dijk. Just drops his shoulder to get away from Mason Mount, and then he plays the ball over the top, which is one for Mane to chase, but Mendy is there just at the edge of the D, and clears that one towards the halfway line. What a bit of control that is from Mateo Kovacic, just as well that Alonso kept that pretty easy pass in play in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Kovacic has certainly been playing really well today.
Well, that's superb from him again. He just gets away from Fabinho for his pass to Alonso is blocked, and now Mo Salah going back towards Alexander-Arnold. Long clearance from him up towards the halfway line. Headed down now, and it's with Rudiger on the left-hand side. Ball over the top, taken down. Once again, this is virtuoso stuff here from Kovacic, the way he's controlling the ball.
I remember him a few years ago complaining with the Croatian national team that he didn't play ahead of Modric and Rakitic, and he's showing why these days.
Well, that was superb from him again, and here come Chelsea now, down the right-hand side, as breaking into the box is Pulisic. He stands the cross up towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's away from Hudson-Odoi, played away by Alexander-Arnold, but it's still kept in play here by Marcos Alonso down the left-hand side. Goes back towards Rudiger, and now it's with Thiago Silva inside towards Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta now finds a run here from Mount. Mount's ball in towards Pulisic along the ground into the 6-yard box. Tsimikas gets the ball out for a corner.
Yeah, it's certainly Chelsea on the front foot though. Thomas Tuchel clapping his team on. They've been brilliant in these last few moments. He'll feel as though they should really get ahead in this, but there's that threat of Liverpool on the counter-attack all the time, isn't there?
Always that threat, and that's what Chelsea have to be aware of. But Marcos Alonso now. You're looking to try and whip as good a ball as he can from this right-hand side. He's pretty much aiming for goal, and it's headed away by Konate at the near post. Just about stopped it from going in play. We'll see from a replay whether it would have been going on target. Great chance for Liverpool to counter-attack, and the pass towards Oxlade-Chamberlain. He doesn't control it. And just looking at the way that Mo Salah went into a bit of a hissy fit there, suggestions that the Egyptian perhaps thought his teammate should have controlled it.
It was 4-on-2 as well if Liverpool had taken that down. Yes, one of the defenders was Kante, but if Oxlade-Chamberlain had controlled that one, could have slotted it right to Salah, or there were two on his left-hand side.
Absolutely. Well, now we're going to see Curtis Jones coming on for Liverpool. Central midfielder with attacking qualities, can play as holder midfielder as well, but he's going to be coming on for these final minutes now. It looks like it's for Sadio Mane.
Yeah, he did play a couple of times a few years ago on the left wing. Of course, did so when they beat Everton in the Cup, when there was a lot of youngsters playing when the rest of the squad were at the FIFA World Cup, so probably go on that left-hand side. He
cut in from the left and scored a great goal at Brentford earlier this season as well. So he certainly can get forward and cause problems here, Curtis Jones. It's not just a case of a body to fill midfield. There's certainly still some hope from that Liverpool bench that if they do get a counter-attack, fresh-faced Curtis Jones will be able to just hopefully get it over the line, as Liverpool are now in possession with Oxlade-Chamberlain down the right-hand side. Finds Jordan Henderson, who's on the right wing. He's got Salah there with him. Back heels it to Mo Salah. Salah being put under pressure here from Antonio Rudiger. Goes back towards Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ball deflects off Mateo Kovacic. Salah doing his best to make it go out for a throw. It doesn't go out for a throw, but Liverpool keep possession. We were about 5 seconds away from seeing the fourth official's board in terms of injury time. Crossfield ball doesn't get through towards Curtis Jones, though. Then a bit of strange play there from N'Golo Kante. Gives the ball away, still in a dangerous position. And now Curtis Jones goes on a run down the left-hand side, gets to the edge of the area, plays it back towards Naby Keita. Keita trying to dance away here from Kante. Finds Oxlade-Chamberlain in the box. He goes back to Henderson. Henderson stopped immediately by Jorginho, so he plays it square now to Curtis Jones. We're into injury time. There are going to be 4 minutes of injury time at the end of this game. Here comes Tsimikas now, and he gets away from Mason Mount, breaks into the box, now plays it to the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's eventually sliced clear twice before it goes out for a corner. But good play there from Tsimikas, and a bit lightweight in the end from Mount.
Yeah, he lost it initially to Mount, and then fought his way back and screams at the Liverpool fans over at that side of the ground to provide some support in these final moments.
Absolutely, we're going to see this outswinging corner now from Kostas Tsimikas. They're all waiting aside the penalty here. It's such a poor corner. Hudson-Odoi, who's not the tallest player in the world, standing at the near post, just turns his head and heads it away. It's far too low. It's not good enough from Tsimikas.
It's my biggest pet peeve in football is not beating the first man from corners. It really frustrates me because you don't give a team a chance whatsoever. If you hit it too long on the other side, somebody can potentially be there to pick the ball up. But if you hit the first man, it's going to be cleared and you're under threat on the counter.
Honestly, I could do a podcast about how those sort of corner kicks annoy me, particularly now that keepers don't catch the ball as much anymore. Get it into that 6-yard box, create some doubt between the keeper and the defenders, and there's always a chance that these short corners and these too many overthinking these corners sometimes, I think, can actually help the defence more than the attacking side. But we still got just over 2 minutes of injury time to play here at Stamford Bridge, and it's now Liverpool enjoying a little foray forward as the ball is played towards the edge of the area, and that's a very cushioned header from Azpilicueta. If he intended on doing what he just did there, then it's great play.
I don't know whether it's chest or head or shoulder. I don't quite know where it came off.
Just sort of deflected it off his body, didn't he?
Yeah, it was brilliant from him. As on our screen, they're almost intonating now that Mateo Kovacic is going to be awarded man of the match, and he is. I think that's a fair result.
Well, he scored a goal, which was a great goal. He's had more touches than anyone else. He's won more duels, and he's had more successful tackles. So just about ticking every box as far as a midfielder is concerned. There,
especially in a midfield too for Chelsea. That's what your job is.
Absolutely. And as you say, there's been a little bit of sort of chopping and changing around Kovacic. But perhaps it's no surprise that he starts ahead of Jorginho today. And the way that Kante's played, it'd be hard to drop him as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Them two have been fantastic today. And Jorginho's been solid since he came onto the field as well.
Here at Liverpool, though, for all the compliments of playing the Chelsea midfield, it's the Liverpool midfield that are getting some sort of joy going forward now. And it's Henderson's ball to try and pick out Oxlade-Chamberlain. Just a slight scuffed clearance there from Rudiger, but he does let it go out for a throw. They've got a minute of injury time still to play here. And it's a throw on to Liverpool now down the right-hand side as Alexander-Arnold plays the ball in for Henderson. Henderson tries to get that ball in for a cross. Has it gone out for a corner? No, it's deflected off Thiago Silva, back off Jordan Henderson and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, he thought he may have just about kept it in and hooked it back onto the field once it did clip himself, but yeah, it just goes off, and that's really frustrating for Liverpool because it was a good position to put a ball in.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel just beckoning his players to get a bit further forward, not to be sat back for these last 40 seconds of injury time now. Don't suppose the draw helps either side, really, does it, in terms of their pursuit of Man City?
No, Liverpool would have been 6 points behind them if they win both of their games in hand, but with this will be another further 8 points with just over 1/3 of the season to go. Is a very difficult comeback against such a great Man City side.
It is. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure, as the ball now out for a throw to Liverpool down the right-hand side. But seconds now are left of the allotted 4 minutes of injury time. And here come the visitors again with Virgil van Dijk over the halfway line. Finds Curtis Jones. Looks busy here, Curtis Jones, as he tries to play in Tsimikas. A cross in from Tsimikas is charged down, volleyed clear, but it's sliced clear by Azpilicueta. There may still be a chance for Liverpool before it's played up towards the halfway line. And Anthony Taylor calls time on the game at Stamford Bridge. It's been a fascinating game, very enjoyable. First half played at 100 miles an hour, maybe just 80 miles an hour in the second half. But overall, it's been a fascinating game. It's finished Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. From myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz and Matt Guy, thank you very much, and join us again soon.